Well, one of our feature events of the day and of the show is the Providence Cup. Show hunter hacks and galloways. We've just made an executive decision here on the spot right now at this very moment that we're actually going to try and live stream this, madam, aren't we?
Well, we're going to have a crack and try and live stream it. So anybody that's got some friends outside of the showgrounds, what we will do is we'll eliminate me from the broadcast box, in which case I won't be able to do any live talking to you guys up here in the broadcast box. But we've brought in the lovely Kathy Emmett to take over my job up here as such, which will allow me the opportunity to get downstairs and be able to separate myself from broadcasting up here and be able to talk through the live stream. So the beauty about having a live stream is I can actually go and talk to the judges, I can talk to the competitors, and in no way, shape and form is it any way influential to what's going on out here at the moment. So I'm going to enjoy that. So I'll say excuse me from me. I'll now pass over to Kath. Good morning, Kath.
Good morning, Casey and Rob and everybody at the Melbourne show.
Well, our lovely, she won't mind me saying, our lovely little Kathy, we see her once a year if we don't meet her at the races somewhere along the line. And she's always got a smile from ear to ear. And we love coming up and talking about the Providence Cup for show hunters and hacks and galloways. And, well, we know full well, young lady, you used to be a competitor yourself.
I did it with the dear old milkman. Good old man he was.
Actually, you only lost the milkman last year, didn't you?
Yes, just this year recently, like 3 months ago, we sent him to over the Rainbow Bridge.
Oh, that's lovely. Say that again.
We sent him over the Rainbow Bridge and he's
the one. Okay.
buried in his paddock with an ornamental pear on top.
Okay, take us on a bit of a journey with the milkman. What sort of things did you do with him? How good was he?
He was a full-time hunting horse in winter. He whipped into hounds, and then in summertime he became a show hunter.
I can remember the milkman talking about the milkman on the big arena out here in the good old days.
Yeah, the good old days.
I won't say they were the good old days because our days now are just as good, but they were the good old days, weren't they?
Yes, we always had the big arena and the whole arena. You could really get the gallops cracking and the team jumping with the Melbourne show with the hunting horses. And so he did his show hunter classes and he also did the hunting events as well.
Well, looking forward for Casey to be downstairs, having a little bit of a chat with a few of the competitors. It wasn't scheduled to be live streamed, but I'm sure Karen will be, Karen Fisher, of course, who tell us a little bit about this, Kathy, because you come up and represent her every year, who actually sponsors the Providence Cup, and it's not a cheap exercise for her, but we love our jackets. In fact, I was at the races the other day with the Providence Cup jacket on, and she said, and this gentleman said to me, "What cup's that?" Thinking that it was a racing cup somewhere. I said, no. I said, it's you've got it all wrong. He said, well, it's got cup written on there. I said, yes, and I had to go and explain it all to him. Oh, really? So I think he thought, hang on, I've never heard of this race before. Where'd we get that from?
Oh, she does done an amazing job creating this event for show hunter hacks and galloways combined. She puts a huge amount of effort into it. Pride's Easy Feeds are a major sponsor. And it's just amazing. The prizes are amazing for the top 10. It's incredible.
Well, I see on the back of our jackets we've got a new sponsor this year too. So we thank very much our sponsors and our supporters. Of course, as you mentioned before, we've got Pride's Easy Feed. I think the High Plains Rugs. And we've also got one of the embroidery companies involved with us, Stitchy Fingers, I think they called it, or Stitch Fingers. I'm not too sure how it's pronounced, but you know who you are. Tell us a little bit about this event, Kathy.
Well, from what I understand from my previous experience, a show hunter horse should travel across the ground as if they were hunting, so they should be able to cover the ground. They should have exceptional manners and look like the sort of horse that you could sit on all day out hunting, following hounds. And
the type of horse we're looking at should probably try and describe it as basic as we can, because I know we've got a lot of people sitting at home that know the business of what we're talking about now. But for those people that are sitting in the grandstands here now, we're looking at a horse that's a much bigger, stronger, bigger bone type of horse.
Bigger boned, and that's what a show hunter is, as opposed to they can be thoroughbreds or whatever breed, but they need to have more bone. Technically, a show hunter should have about 8 inches of bone minimum. Because they need to be strong, and then they're basically representing what perhaps a hunting horse
Sure.
should be, the way they travel across the ground.
Although I must
and have
admit,
great
Kathy, I
manners.
think our hunting horses, or our hunters that we refer to as show hunters, are a little bit more attractive than the genuine hunter from England,
Yes,
aren't they?
yes, not quite so. Oh, yes, definitely.
Because we've got a little bit of crossing of the genes with some of our horses here.
Yes.
We've just got a new bloke in our stable at the moment, a big grey horse, and we don't know whether he's going to make a hack or a hunter. He's a big boy.
I
and
actually think he's going to be a show hunter.
I think he is too. I really do.
I really do. The famous Chautauqua.
A ladyship next door to me wants to go into the hack ring, but I'm saying, darling, I think this is where you might be. And it doesn't matter. It just proves that we've got a life after racing. The only thing I do know, Kathy, we certainly won't be copping the 10 million prize money he's already won in
No.
the show ring. I can tell you now.
I doubt that very much.
Probably cost us 10 million to go showing, but no, we're
Or
really
maybe 3.
we're looking forward to it, and you know the horse very, very well.
Yeah, I do.
So little by little by little, we're each day we're progressing along the line, and I would think within probably about 6, maybe 7 months, might even be shorter, we'll have him out in the ring. We'll sneak him up to a little country show somewhere, and we'll take him out with the other horses just for experience, without showing him for a while. And we've got to learn
Just get him used to
we've
wandering
got to-
around, see what's going on.
We've got to teach him to learn to tie up to a float all day. I mean, he's always gone to the races and been pampered and looked after and double tied and standing there in a nice stall all day. Now he's just going to have to
On
wing
rubber
it.
matting.
Yes, he's just going to have a wing it now, stand in the dirt and tie to the float.
That's it.
Now, let me just explain. Sorry, darling. Let me just explain to you how this is going to be judged. We have 3 judges, one of which will be randomly drawn to select a top 10. So we'll have a main judge, what we might say, and then the winner and runner-up will be chosen from those top 10. So we'll see all these horses limited down to a top 10 in a moment or two. So all the hard work, we'll say farewell to most of them, Kathy, which is a bit of a shame in the showing world, isn't it? When you've got to turn around and see them just culled is the probably right
I
word.
guess that's the right word. They're cold, and but then it's amazing that it's so well supported by the people
Isn't
that
it?
enter, and it's a huge honour just to get out there and have a go. To make the top 10 would be amazing.
Well, our horses here, I suppose the easiest way to describe what we're looking for, and you mentioned before, or it might have even been case, I'm not sure now at the moment, it's judged on manners and paces, also conformation and soundness of the animal as well too, and of course the performance and the workout that we're going to see out here in a few moments' time. 3 judges, as we said. The first judge picks out the top 10, and then they all go away and put their points down. And once again, I'm pretty sure it's judged on the same lines as our other events that we've seen a little bit earlier on in the show, whereby their top choice will be given 1 point. And as they go down the list, the horses that are placed in that particular order will be 6, 7, 8, 9. So the bottom line is we need a horse out here to have 3 1s.
Absolutely.
If we get our 3 1s, 1, 1 and 1, it's almost like show jumping, isn't it? I keep explaining it
but
the easiest
show
way.
jumping faults, yes.
0 is the best score you can ever have, which
Yeah.
is probably the worst score. A lot of people say if you're playing cricket or any other sport, you get a 0, you've got a duck. But in our instance, if you've got a 0 or a 1 or something like that, that's the best score that you could probably have.
Absolutely.
So I hope that explains it to our people sitting in the grandstands. And as we progress along, we'll explain it all to you one by one.
And we look forward to watching them all go round.
Well, we will, and we've seen quite a few of these horses already.
vie
Kathy,
for
and
the,
today-
Last years.
yeah, well,
The
even in
title
this show here,
of
our
winning
hacks
the
have been
Providence
able to
Cup.
come out.
So Karen Fisher has very generously given me one of her Providence Cup vests, which our top 10 girls will receive. So if you're lucky enough to make it to the top 10, you get given a beautiful vest. And I'm very interested to see how this plays out. What a strong field of hunters. In fact, I've been admiring the hunters here at Melbourne Show this year. We haven't really seen huge amount of numbers in terms of the hacks of what we had yesterday, especially for our novice hunter hacks. But coming out here now, you can see that
Notice of us, but it's just a
the
showing
quality
thing
that we're
whereby
watching out here
we've
is
got a-
second to none. There's some really big named horses that I'm watching coming through in front of me at the moment, and they just look divine. So I'm quite sure that the judging for this, and I don't have the criteria sheet in front of me, so don't shoot me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure for the Providence Cup it will be in the same line as the judging for what we saw for the Grand Parade Trophy and our Fairlight Acres Trophy a little bit earlier throughout the day yesterday, and of course I think it was Sunday. Well, Sunday was yesterday, Saturday. Oh, I don't even know what day we are. Hang on, it's Tuesday. See, it's day 4 of Melbourne Show. I'm getting myself confused. The point system will be as fares. It'll be 1 point for the horse that the judges like. So for their first will be 1 point, 2 points for second place, and 3 points for third place, and so on. So essentially what you're after, if this is the calculation of the points, is to have the lowest score. So you'd be looking for 3, 1 vote from each of our judges. So our judges just asked for a change of rein. And this is the interesting thing when you change the rein, and I'd love for some of our competitors to answer, and I'm not logged on to the live stream, so I can't see what your comments are. As a rider out here competing at the Melbourne Show, when you change the rein, do you try and throw a bit of an extension in so that the judge can see that your horse has a really good extension, or do you just change the rein normally? And that's the beauty of admiring our hunters, is the way that they, each and every one of them, cover the ground. They cover the ground effortlessly. So it looks as though power plays in front of me at the moment. We've got Valentino out in this particular group as well. It looks as though I can see, is it maybe Federer out here too? So there are some really, really strong show hunter hacks out in this first group. A welcome stranger for Brian Scholes. So there's plenty of horses in our first heat that I know just by looking at. I'm sure there's more of you. We've got our best novice hack in front of me right now. So Karen Fisher is a competitor, supporter, committee member, judge and coach within the showing industry, and has always strived to put back into the sport. So this sponsorship of the Providence Cup is an example of Mrs. Fisher's contribution to the showing industry. So a really vast knowledge across our showing world, and it's really, really wonderful. This is her baby. She was talking to myself and Rob this morning in the broadcast box. This event truly is her baby, and she lives for it. In fact, I think it's her 10th year sponsoring next year. So it looks as though we've been getting some of our hacks have been called. So far we've got 3 coming through. Here comes number 4. How many is our judges going to call in? So our Providence Cup judges are Lenore Holbrow Harvey. Take 2. Lenore Holbrow Harvey, Angela Foster, and Kirsten Strath. You'll have to bear with me. It's been a long 4 days. So as you can see, we've had the first of our horses go round. It'll be interesting to see whether or not they're going to split this up into 3 groups, or whether they'll send the next lot out for judging. Let's have a look at how they fare. It looks as though they're going to make only 3 groups. Let us have a look. So the second group is out on the circle now. Yep, splitting into 3. So again, this is a really good opportunity that our judge allows us to kind of warm up to a degree before our judge will call for a walk. And we get up and running with the class. And there's the call for the walk. So this is the great thing about coming down on ground level, is the fact that I can get up close and personal with our judges, but also with the fact that what you see on ground level is sometimes so different from what you see up in the grandstand. So when you're looking from the grandstand's height, you don't see all those little intricate details that you would from afar, especially when it comes to workouts. In terms of workouts, sometimes you think that your horse from a grandstand's perspective nailed it, but then when you're up close and personal down at the judge's level, potentially maybe they might have not worked as good as what they could have. I wonder whether or not I can make my way across to the judges and just have a little bit of an interview with them to see what their types are before they actually head out and do the judging. So those of you sitting at home might get a little bit of a idea to be able to follow our judges and what it is that they are looking for in terms of a specific type. Let's see if they're down here in our little box. I might be able to invite them out and have a little bit of a talk to them for you. Nope, we're out of luck. Just the one judge done here at the moment. Our other two judges are still upstairs. They're yet to have been brought down, which is disappointing because it would have been really nice to have picked their brains prior to this class going ahead. So this is the beauty about having three judges, because in one sense, you've got the three judges' opinions all coming together. And as you know, every judge has got a different opinion. Each person likes a different type of horse, a different way of horse. Some judges judge on movement, some judges judge on conformation, some judges judge on the whole package, and the majority judge on the whole package, don't get me wrong. But it's really interesting when you get down and talk to the judges and each of them have a specific type. I think at any given time, it's the horse that you really want to take home, which is your horse. That's how I would judge. It's the horse that I'd like to take home, give me a smooth ride, cover the most ground, and be that all-over complete package. So back to the trot. Now we've asked for a change of rein, so I think our coloured friend here of Fiona McIntyre's is the first of us to go across the centre. It's interesting watching some of these riders working overtime to get maximum performance out of their horses. It's fun to see, actually. The inside legs are staying nice and still so that the judge can't see us working too hard, but yet on the outside, when they come past me as I'm at the edge of the ring here, you can really see some of our riders giving their horses a real little, come on mate, just keep performing for me. Up and into the canter. So it looks as though our judge is informing the steward we're going to have our first call. Looks as though it'll be France. Call, Dicavali Royal Rory. Georgia Kellogg's big boys being called in. Got a Galloway coming in. Have to chase the name of the Galloway, unfortunately. 1294. Let me see if I can hunt it. Penelope Greenhill's Tiffin's Encore was our Galloway that's coming through. So it looks as though we've had a fair few horses called off of the circle there. So here we go, heat number 3. Off go our riders to do their best to get called in. So of course our head judge can call in as many horses as she wants, but at the end of the day we're trying to narrow down to a top 10. So if she calls in more than 10, then they have to go back out on the circle again and narrow it down to a top 10. This is a good thing about eventually when we move into the workouts here, and I love watching some of these riders really perform, because when they do their workouts, they almost leave no stone unturned. So you think, you know, you've made it to the top 10 before a workout consists. So do you just go for gold, give it everything you've got? If you make a mistake, oh, well, so be it. But you're going to go for gold. You've got nothing to lose. Wonder if our judges have made their way down just yet. I don't think that they have. I'll go for a little walk. So we're off into the trot now for the last of our heats in our Providence Cup. And our judges still aren't down here yet. So at this point in time, still just the one judge. Up and into the canter. So here we go. We've asked for a change of rein. Now, bearing in mind, this was a little bit last minute for me to come down here because, as I said, the live stream was not scheduled to live stream this class. I've not got all my information with me, so you'll have to bear with me. We'll be more prepared for the Pope Cup, but we'll try and do our best to keep you all at home as updated as I possibly can. So let me just have a look at this lineup at the moment as I have a little of a walk behind here and just see how many horses we've currently got in our lineup. Let me have a quick sneaky peek. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. So there's 11 horses in the lineup at the moment, so we will need to go again. Back to a trot. So from here on now, our judge is just about to let our steward know who their picks are going to be. So here we go. In comes the next of our horses to be called. There's a clap from the crowd. And Galloway over the side. I was eyeing that particular horse off myself. Big pat from the rider there once I get the number, but that's a lovely Galloway. Here come our judges. I can see them making their way down here. They're going to hate me going over and asking them for some questions. Okay, Angela, I'm here on live stream. So live stream, you can talk to me because at the end of the day, what you say to me, the competitors can't hear, which is a bonus. So you don't have the hard task of narrowing down the top 10. That's being done for you. But take us through your type of show hunter. What makes your type of hack?
I love a horse that can really move, that is very attractive and just very even, very pleasant to look at.
So as far as the workout's concerned, you want to see the riders give their horses absolute maximum workout?
Yes, yeah, and being a show hunter, they're supposed to behave themselves, so.
Isn't that part and parcel of it? The show hunters, we're not so forgiving in a workout when they make a little bit of a mistake because they're the sort of horse that we need to have along at the end of the day and gallop across the fields and be that really comfy, smooth ride, aren't they?
Exactly, yep.
You've come down from Darwin, joining us down here. What do you think of our Melbourne weather so far?
It's freezing.
I knew you were going to say that. When do you go home?
Tomorrow morning.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing what you're looking for out here. We know that you like a horse that is really free in the movement, a very pretty horse, but an all-around nice, balanced type. Good luck. We'll enjoy watching. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Angela Foster. She joins us now for our Providence Cup. Over here, Kirsten. I'll come and have a little bit of a talk to you now. I'll separate you from our judges because, as we know, our judges at any given time when they're in their workout process need to be separated. Kirsten, we heard from Angela. She spoke to us about her type of show hunter hack, what she's looking for. What makes your perfect show hunter?
Foremost, I like balance and a good going horse, so something that's travelling. Looking for bone in the show hunters. just a quality animal.
When you say looking for bone, because it's hard nowadays to try and choose whether or not, and I'm having the same process with my horse at home. I'm just about to start her, and I'm thinking about, do I bring her out as a hunter or do I bring her out as a hack? It's more so the substance of the bone through the legs, through the cannons. Is that what you're talking about when you talk about bone?
Yeah, so I'm looking for circumference basically of the cannon bone. I'm looking for shortness of the cannon bone. I'm looking for depth in the rib cage, and then again overall balance. So yeah, not the big neck and the little back end. The balance.
The whole horse needs to be balanced for you. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, back at home. We thank our judges. As you know, anybody that's out in the grandstands can't hear what our judge has to say. But from hearing that now, you get the opportunity to have a little bit of a listen to what our judges will be looking for when it comes to narrowing down our Providence Cup out here at the moment. They've got to have good bone, good balance, good structure, work well, no mistakes, and of course cover the ground. Well, if you're having a look, here is a very, very strong lineup of show hunter horses and Galloways. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 horses. So we need to almost narrow down. I can hear you, Dad, but I'm on the live stream, so no one out there can hear me. Well, I'll speak to our ringmaster. Our ringmaster might know a little bit more about that. Warren? So obviously we're going to be looking for a top 10 field. So are we going to be working out these 15 horses, or are we narrowing down again?
We're going to go on the circle and narrow them down again to a top 10. So the principal judge will select that top 10 out of this bigger group. Very difficult to pick the whole lot out, just down to 10, just in one hit.
Yes, so there you go. Everybody sitting at home, that's from our chief steward, our ringmaster out here. Our judge will be narrowing down again. So our stewards are giving each and every rider a little bit of an opportunity to have a look at the workout, if it is by chance they're lucky to get selected. But by the looks of things, it looks like we will be narrowing down. So our judge out here, which of course is Lenore. Lenore's having a really, really good look over these horses before she narrows them down further. So she's actually having a really good look at the legs on these horses, because at the end of the day, she's going to select her type. So she has to select her type of horse. So I'm just watching her work here. Our judge is having a really, really good look at these horses before that she goes out and gives them another go. So she's just double checking that each and every one of these horses are her type, making sure there's no confirmation faults, because what you see up close and what you see out on the circuit are two entirely different things. And bearing in mind, there's a bit of time and space for this class because it is one of our features here. So our judge can take the time to come and have a look at these horses, and then she can pinpoint in her head, no, this horse I really don't like because it might have this fault, or this horse I really love because it has no faults. But in these circumstances and at this level, I think you'll be trying really hard to find fault in a few of the horses that we have lined up out here. This is an exceptional group of hunter horses and Galloways that we have in front of us. So our riders are just waiting patiently as Lenore casts her professional eye over these horses for the Providence Cup. So it looks as though our stewards very shortly will call Our horse is out, so our stewards are back with our head judge. So just watching our judge here to try and inform everybody about what's happening. Oh, well, there you go. This is different. Ladies and gentlemen, this is different. By the looks of things, it looks as though they might not go back out on the circle. It looks as though she's going to call forward her top 10 from a lineup. This could be quite interesting. Just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Because she's had a look, she's selected her type off the circle. So she knows what she's looking for. She's got a specific type that she's looked for. And every one of these horses is out here because she's selected them. So she knows these horses. But now she's been out the back, had a look at them all, and she's pulling forth her 10 off the lineup, not having another round on the circle. But this is what it looks like. And there you have it. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. That's how it's been selected. She's pulled them off the lineup. So the horses that she's sort of had a look over in terms of their legs, their conformation, everything, and those that she's wanted, she's pulled forward, and those that she doesn't no longer require have left the arena. So we didn't have to do another lot of circle. We'll just work out from here. So it's interesting to see where our horses and riders will go. They will have the whole arena to work out on. And this is the thing. Do you utilise the space that you've been given? This is a big arena here at Royal Melbourne Show. Do you utilise the space? So here we go. Our riders are now coming back towards me. So we won't talk to any of them prior to working out. We'll allow them the opportunity to do their work first, to get the hard work over and done with. Then we will speak to a few of our riders, ask them how their performance was, what they thought of it all. Alana Richards just talking to her friends and coaches over the back of the fence, talking to the fan club in the background. And this is the thing, behind every horse and rider, there's a really, really strong team. It's not just yourself out there doing it all. There's always people here to help, people here to advise, people here that tell you that, yes, your horse looked really good out there then, or to tweak it in some way, shape and form. So here you have it. Our judges are now separating. Now we get to sit and go through this workout together. So we'll see what the workout entails. In some way, shape and form, I might be able to grab a copy of the workout and see what it is these ladies and gents are required to do. Haha, here we go. The beauty of reading a workout, which I haven't done for such a long time. Sorry. Okay, here we go. So the entrance is over where our judge is, and of course our cameraman. So you are going to get a really good view of our horses coming in. And it looks as though Jessie Stalling is the first of our horses out. This will be power play. I'll double check that. That's just off the memory bank. So our stewards have just said, Jess has just created her own entrance, and there you go. So everybody else is following. There you go. All our riders are in the background here having a bit of a laugh. Jess just made up her own show. So all the other riders are now following. So here we go. This is quite hysterical. Good on you, Jess. We're not going to mock what you're doing. You know that you know what you're doing. Okay, so at the moment she'll be going through her trot in, working trot, off into the canter. So there is an extension of the trot across in front of the judges. Now we're into our canter, and there is a hand gallop involved as well. So that's just a few of the movements that we'll be seeing. Okay, here we go. I know, we're all having a laugh. Jess made up her own rules, but that doesn't matter. It looks good. What she's doing looks really good. Here goes our hand gallop. He's a big horse. He covers a lot of ground. So it is power play that you're watching on screen here, 1048. So Jess has just provided a beautiful workout there on power play. So she's kind of set the bar about what she's after there. So as you can see, she's just given a little salute to the stewards to suggest that she's completed. So this horse that we're about to see out at the moment is 1617. It'll be Universal Stables and Sienna Vassopoulos nomination, Hollands Bend Royal Consort. Another lovely horse that I was eyeing off yesterday, actually, as this horse was going around in his classes. He's a really, really good, strong hunting type. And as you can see, he's got a really, really nice medium trot across the centre there. He keeps himself in a really nice frame as he goes around this horse, and he looks quite soft as he's doing it. So we know our judges are looking for that softness in their hunting type. So this will be interesting to see how this horse scores, provided he does everything correctly. Because remembering in our hunters, we're not so forgiving on any mistakes. So coming across the centre now to change the rein. And that's a lovely change. And a really, really nice big hand gallop there. And I always say this to the competitors when I see them at times, you know, like you've got a beautiful, big, bowling, lovely, moving horse like this. Cover the ground, get him going, and on the long side there, we did just that. And we have seen this Class 1 before because of that reason, where riders in the past have gone out and just nailed the hand gallop. And that's been what's been the winning factor of the workout. And there's a really big, strong trot there in front of the judges. So that was a really, really nice way to end it. And we'll come back to the walk. Nice and soft. A horse has a really good stretch, a sign of the horse being rewarded for a great workout. She'll be very happy with that. That was 1617, Sienna Vassopoulos' nomination, and Universal Stables Hollands Bend Royal Consort. This is a horse that knows what he's doing. This looks like we'll have the Lee family's SLM Valentino, the next of our horses out. Now this is a horse that I'd really, really love to take home. I've watched this particular horse for many, many years, and he's just such a kind going horse, and I think he demonstrates the thickness that our judges are looking for. And he's a very, very well-educated boy, is this boy here, SLM Valentino, for the Lee family. So our first two workouts have been faultless. Our riders have given it everything they've got. It's going to be very curious to see which way our judges swing here. Tough competition so far. Now that's how you cover a very, very small fault. He's just having a little bit of a look around there, and what probably you're not seeing on screen is what I can see down here. There are a few little marks, a few little nooks and crannies out on the arena, of which this bloke today, for some reason, he's getting his knickers in a little bit of a knot. He's just seeing those, shall I say, those little notches in the grass, but a beautifully way covered there by our rider in Bryony. We might have a little bit of a talk to her a bit later to see what she thinks of her workout. In fact, we could probably speak to a few of our horses now. Next will be 232, which will be that of Federer, of course, owned by Rebecca Crane, ridden by Adam Oliver from Universal Stables. Another of our renowned hacks joining us out on our Herald Sun Arena at the moment is Federer. He's a horse, like most of these horses in the lineup, that have been there, done that have all tasted success at national level, royal level. There's not many that these horses haven't done. So as you can see, our hunting lines are strong. Up and into the canter. Now, Federer is a sort of horse that I'd love to ride, and I'm not too sure whether it's the way Adam Oliver rides him, but he just looks like he's such a smooth horse to ride on, and I have to ask Adam that question, whether he is that smooth, but I do admire this boy when I watch him. He just holds that frame. He's a horse that knows his job. And here you go. Here's an example of a rider showing the obedience of the horse. And this is what Adam's done there. Now he's just put it to the other riders to say, okay, what have you got? He took his hand off the rein and did a one-handed flying change. So he knows the skill set of his horse. He knows how educated he is. And now he's going for that very strong hand gallop, covering some ground there now. Well, he's out here to win the class, that's for sure. A big sigh from Federer then when he just dropped back to the trot, because he's right in front of me. I heard him give a nice big sigh as if to say, yep, I know I look good. And down into the walk. 5-6-5, and the crowd's applauding that one. The crowd like Federer's workout. Let's see what Ali Barrick brings to the table here on hers and Alexia Fraser's nomination, ETP La Scala. It's interesting watching all of our riders here that have completed their workouts, just sitting back and relaxing, watching everybody else go. Take us through your workout. Jess, you happy with your big fella?
Yeah, really happy. He felt awesome out there.
We were all having a little bit of a chuckle here because the stewards and I was just looking at the workout when you went out there, and you kind of came in from the opposite angle and sort of set the precedence from where everyone wanted to be. And we said, we're not going to argue with Jess. She knows what she's doing.
There was quite a bit of confusion of the way the arena layout was going to be, and we sort of kept changing, and they sort of moved the pot plants, and then we still thought we were coming in the opposite way. And in the last minute, they're like, no, you're going that way. And then they're like, just copy Jess. I was like, I had to ask, is everyone going to do the same as me? Or are they just trying to trick me? But no, so it all worked well, and everyone seems to do the same.
Everyone's doing the same. No, it worked very well, Jess. We're very happy. It looks very good. So your idea was a good one. Everyone's following suit. Sienna, I do admire this big horse. I was watching you out here yesterday on this guy. He's a real hunter type, isn't he? And is he as smooth to ride as he looks?
Oh, he sure is. He's so beautiful. He's only just 6, and so he's still such a baby, but he just tries his heart out, and he's beautiful to ride.
He holds a really nice frame. So being 6, how long has it been since he's been in your stable? How long have you had him for?
We've owned him for about 2 years or a year and a half, and he's been home just under a year. But he's beautiful to have at home.
Looks like he's a horse that's quite easy to train.
Yeah, he really tries hard, and he tries to please, so he's really easy to have.
Good luck to you in this class. He's sort of fastly becoming a horse I'm watching. I do enjoy watching him work. Bri, what did you take of your workout?
Oh, it was a bit hot, but I got around it.
It's interesting watching this bloke. You know, like I've not really seen him as a hot type of horse in the past, probably because as a rider you cover him up so very, very well. But as I said to the people on the live stream, this ring today, there's a lot of marks, there's a lot of nooks, there's a lot of crannies out on this track that potentially the people at home can't see, but he saw.
It's actually very loud today out here, but there's a lot of marks on the ground as well that horses don't like, so yeah.
Oh, well, I can tell in your voice you're a little bit disappointed with his workout. Well, Adam, you certainly left nothing to the imagination, and I think in this sense, it's what you've got to do in these big-time classes. You've got to go out there and own the workout and almost make everybody else say, oh, hey, look at that. Maybe I can bring it up another element to try and beat what you did. But sort of taking your rein off there and holding with one hand with the flying change, that was a tricky move.
Thank you. Restraint has never been one of my better qualities, especially when on a horse like this. It's very difficult to want to do less, and he just loves, he loves all the elements of competing out here. And when he feels amazing like that, how could you not attempt to perform that way?
I've said that as a horse for a riding class, you make him look so easy, and I'm not sure whether it's the way you ride so beautifully, whether you bring him out. Don't get me wrong, he's a stunning horse, but is he as easy as he looks?
Definitely.
I've always wanted to ask. There's my answer. He's an easy ride and he's a good boy. So good on you, Federer. That was a lovely workout. Well done, mate. So we are still currently watching Ali out here. Oh, no, sorry, this is not Ali. Ali's just pulled up behind me. I'll have to find this. Oh, this looks like France. This looks like another one of my big favourite boys going around out here now. 1928. And of course it is France. Owned by Rebecca Crane and Alana Richards. Of course, Alana riding the big guy. It's a magnificent story behind this big horse out here now for the family. They nearly lost him at one point in time. He's been such a remarkable horse to come back from where he's been to back up to Royal Show champion level. Such a brilliant horse to admire is that of France, the workout that you just saw. So as soon as the number comes around, I'll try and get you the number of this particular horse. They'll come straight at me in a minute. (1162) is D'Artagnan, owned by Tess O'Connor and Stephanie O'Connor. Take us through your workout, Ali. I unfortunately was talking to everybody else and didn't get to see it, but are you happy with the way your horse performed?
Yeah, I was. I've only had this mare 10 days, so I don't know her too well yet. So we can definitely do better, but I was pleased with her today.
That's good to know. And if you've had her 10 days and she's worked well for you, then that's a bonus. How do you find your horses in your team? What's the process for you?
I suppose just getting them used to the arena and being out here and getting them to relax in the environment to get the best out of them is the main thing. So, yeah, it's good to kind of come out again and just let her see things and learn a bit about her and, yeah.
The interesting thing about Melbourne Show is when you come sort of head on that Ferris wheel there, have you ever found that any of the horses sort of stop and have a balk about the big moving circle in the background?
Surprisingly not. I think they probably look more at the big screen and possibly the gate being so close to the stables more so than the Ferris wheel.
That's an interesting one. Well, I have an off-the-track horse myself that'll come out soon, so I'll take that advice. The Ferris wheel doesn't bother them. The ever-professional man is this boy, France. Alana, you happy with that?
Yeah, I'm really happy with him. He was such a good boy for me.
He's always a performer for you. He's one of those kind, gentle horses. He never really does too much wrong, but the story behind him to sort of have him back out here as a Royal Show champions from where he's come from, take everybody at home tell them a little bit of the journey that this gentleman's gone on with you.
So I bought him almost 3 years ago now, and at the start of last year, 2018, he had a huge operation and had 2 massive introllers taken out of him, and it was a slow process to get him back. We moved to South Australia with Chris and Vicky Laurie, which is probably the best move I've ever made, and they've just gotten him back to peak performance. I reckon it's the best he's looked and gone, and it's the best I've ever felt on him, so I'm really happy with him.
Best of luck in our Providence Cup. Good luck to you. Okay, we are watching the next of our horses is number 1113. Triple 13 is Alana Halloran's nomination. Gem Park Socialite, owned by Ava Halloran. Looks a very, very comfortable canter as this horse is covering quite a lot of ground for probably one of the smaller horses that we have out here in terms of height groups. Of course, this is a Galloway and Hack class, which makes it so special. Love watching the horse's ears flicker forwards and backwards. And they're listening to the rider at all times. Yeah, she's actually handling herself quite well. Or should I say he's actually handling himself quite well, this particular horse, because you could see it in his eyesight, his line of sight where he was looking. He was thinking to himself to spook at our big white boxes here around the edge of the arena, but even though his line of sight was hooked on the boxes, he never actually faltered. So that's a really good workout. Well done. One 1390 is the next of the horses that we are watching in our Providence Cup. I'm pretty sure I said 1390. I'll just double check that. If it is, it's the nomination of Bridget Sell, Michelle Walton and Yvonne Batnick. Cormoran Winterfell hit. Let me double check that. And it is indeed 1390. Here we go. Here's a nice hand gallop. Now this big fella I can see on the hunting fields all day, he is a true hunter type, isn't he, as he's going around there then. As our rider just opened up the gate a little bit and said, okay mate, you can allow that freedom to stretch. 1, 3, 2, 1 will be the next of our horses to come out. I'm pretty sure the last, which will be Denelm Icon, nominated by Romsey Park and Diane McDonald and Tony Bailey. Just got himself a little confused there down in front of the judges, and he's doing it again. He's not too sure about thinking about striking off into the canter, which is Denelm Icon. And now he's allowed to canter, and there he goes. Tell you what, when the sun shines, this little man is absolutely sensational colour. He's almost got a fleck of gold through his coat, which really, really makes him quite striking, as he's really enjoying his hand gallop there. You see him concentrating and knuckling down, but not losing his frame in any way, shape and form. Just a little bit quick to come down into the trot there, but gee, that's being picky. Another lovely workout as the crowd applauds. Lots of people supporting in the background here for Denelm Icon. Very popular little boy that he is out there. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, sitting at home. They are the top 10's workouts. How do you see it playing? Have you got your favourites at home? Have you got in your mind what you think should be the winner of our Providence Cup for our show hunter hacks and Galloways? I've got a fair idea in my mind where I see the places going, but then I'm not the judge. You don't forget, we've got 3 judges here that have to decide, and each of our 3 judges has to confer, not with each other, but to see who their favourite horse and or type is. We know that our judges are looking for a good bold bone horse. There's something that's really covering over the ground, a horse that doesn't falter in workout but yet looks nice and soft and travels beautifully. So let's sit back and have a look and see where our judges' points have been taken to. In fact, I might go over and have a little bit of a chat with Lenore in a minute before our horses are presented. Obviously, she has to hand her score sheet through to our steward, so I can't talk to her until her score sheet's gone. And here come our horses for our Pope Cup coming out in the background. Another one of our feature events here at Melbourne Show. So remembering that our Providence Cup is the baby of Karen Fisher, who's a competitor, supporter, committee member, judge and coach within the showing industry, and has always strived to put back into the sport. The sponsorship of the Providence Cup is an example of Mrs. Fisher's continued contribution to the showing industry. And in fact, all our participants here get a gift voucher supported by Pride's Easy Feed. So just for competing, our participants get a gift voucher. So our judges are still busy deciphering as our cameraman gets a really good shot there of our horses down the front line for you all at home. Of course, our Pope Cup will be done along the same lines as what we've just seen the judging here. We bring out 3 judges. Here comes all of our prize packs as they're walking here for our top 10. In fact, I think Karen's might even be down here. We might even get the opportunity to speak to her in a minute. So Karen, we're actually on the live stream so everybody at home can see us, and tell us a little bit about this baby. This is your class, it's your baby. Have a look at the trophy back there.
Trophy, and some beautiful horses have won it. This is about our 8th year, I think, and it was just something we evolved in a car trip one night, and we just said there's nothing for the show hunters. There's the Thoroughbred class, of course, the Pope Cup. I got some lovely sponsors on board, and here we are.
Well, Karen, and you always give... Oh, I'm live. Hello.
Of what we can and can't do, Case. So let's come down and meet the lady, of course, that is, well, this has been her baby, I suppose to say.
So it's for everybody back at home, if you are viewing the live stream, I've just been turned on live to the main broadcast. So I might get you to shut me off again in a minute when I have spoken to Karen, because I might go over and speak to one of our judges who I haven't done that yet in Lenore. But we were just going through, Karen, this is your baby, this is your sponsorship. As you can see under my big jacket, I am also wearing the Providence Cup, of which Karen gives us every year. It's a wonderful baby, this event, and it's something where Galloways and Hacks compete against one another.
It's designed basically to give the show hunters another event, which of course the Pope Cup provides for the open horses. So as I said, in a car ride one night, we were just sitting talking, and we decided that this would be the event for the show hunters. And what wonderful support we've had every year. I can't thank everybody enough for supporting us.
And you always have wonderful prize packs. Our top 10 get a lovely bag there. You're really good at giving out the prizes and including, look at this magnificent rug in support of winning this event.
Well, we thank High Plains Rugs, who's come on as a sponsor, as well as Prides, Feeds, and we have some fantastic people who are just happy to join in and be part of our bags. We have saddle cloths in our bags. We have inscribed headstalls with brass plates. There's vests the same as we're wearing in the bags, T-shirts, caps, it's all in there.
You'd be proud of your baby. Look at the competitors that are out there. It's becoming a bigger event every year.
It's fantastic. To get that many entries, it's terrific.
And not only the entries, but the quality that we see, Karen.
Those workouts were just amazing. It's terrific to see them really educating the show hunters and getting them going and flowing along, and it was beautiful to watch.
Well, I'd hate to be in the judge's shoes. I might get you to switch me off now, as I might go and have a little bit of a talk to one of our judges. Sorry, I just had to do a little bit of a click there just to make sure, double check that I was actually not on the broadcast, because we can't speak over the broadcast, can we, Lenore? But tell us about that. You had the job of being our head judge out here today, narrowing them down. That was some really, really nice horses that we saw out there.
Some beautiful horses, beautifully presented. A few little hiccups, but going through to get my top 10 was hard. There was a lot of quality horses there. Thoroughly enjoyed judging it. Workouts were good. Few hiccups that cost them dearly. But yes, it'll be interesting to see the three of us, what we come up with.
I'm curious because I spoke to the other two ladies. They say they look for a really strong bone. They look for a really nice going horse. And as you said, a lot of hiccups in a few of their workouts. What makes your type of hunter?
Definitely bone. There were some in the heats that I felt you didn't have enough bone. So bone is important. Conformation, the way they're put together. They also should be an elegant horse as well. Yeah, so that's what I look for. And something that travels, something that moves. And they've got to be able to cover the ground in the gallop.
They have to come out and own the workout. Workouts have been, this class has been won and lost before through the gallop.
Right, yes. No, the workout, I was a bit like, oh, how's it going to work in the arena? We moved the pots. I think they had plenty of area. They showed them off to perfection. It was a pleasure to judge.
Well, we've enjoyed watching you judge. We'll let you go back to your official duties. We'll take a little bit of a ride with our judges and we'll see what they've come up with. I wonder what everybody at home is rooting for, who their favourite horse was. We know that there were some hiccups with a lot of our workouts, and as you heard Lenore say, it did cost a few competitors dearly. So be very curious to see where our class goes to in terms of who is the winner down here. So quite an amazing lineup of horses that we are about to witness get given not only our winner and our runner-up, but also each and every one of our competitors here that made it to the top 10 receive one of these wonderful bags in support of Karen Fisher. As I said, it's her baby. This is her event. And I didn't realise, but it was made up in the car one day on a trip somewhere. If they can have a Pope Cup, they can have an event for show hunters. Well, sometimes it's a wonderful incentive to enter these big classes when you're given such wonderful prizes. And as you can see, the level of competition that we have every year out here is getting higher and higher. Well, the live stream could probably flick me live now because we're about to make a presentation very shortly. So if the boys upstairs can hear me, you could probably hook me into the main broadcast if you like. Ah, there you go. I've just said to the boys upstairs, they can now hook me into the live broadcast because we've heard from the judges, we've spoken to the judges. I know what the judges are thinking. I certainly don't know who's won the class, but it's a wonderful baby of Karen Fisher's. As we heard, she made it up in the car on her way home somewhere, and she mentioned if they can have a Pope Cup, they can have a Providence Cup for the show hunters. And I think that it's a really good incentive to come into a class like this when you see such wonderful prizes that are being given out by our sponsors. And as you said up there before, I could hear you with the Providence Cup lovely vest that we're given. Yes, I do ride in my vest out at track work at Flemington sometimes. So we support this particular event very, very well. Kathy Emmett's over the back there holding our beautiful trophy. Have you had fun up there with Kathy and your broadcast? I haven't
Actually,
heard a
we have
single
had
thing.
fun with Kath. She gets quite excited out here. I think she sort of relives her time of competing in this particular event herself. And it's always just nice to have people like that sitting with us who wish to share some of their good times that they've had out there. And it also gives the people here, instead of listening to my voice all the time, it also gives them a little bit of an idea of probably what the competitors faced with and what they're doing. But as we said before, Case, Kathy said, oh, look, I wouldn't mind going first anytime. I'd love to go out there and set the bar and turn around if I have a really good workout. That just puts the pressure on the opposition. We saw some pretty good workouts out there today, without saying too much at the moment, but some very impressive workouts. And I tell you what I did like, there was a few little glitches out there, but how the riders very quickly overcome them. I mean, we can hide some of the little faults that we have in this equine world, but it was very good to watch some of these riders, how they tried to overcome the little problems. And it just shows the expertise of the rider.
Well, it is the expertise of the rider, and our riders have done very, very well out there. In fact, it was a little bit of a funny joke between all of us out here watching before, and Jess won't mind me saying this over the broadcast. She smiles there now. The workout that the stewards were giving, obviously Jess has nailed the workout. She's done the correct workout, but she sort of started a precedence. She sort of came in from the other angle, and all the other riders are like, oh, right, so we're going to follow suit and do that now. And so Jess sort of set the precedent for all the other riders as they all had a little chuckle to themselves as the workout was given. So I can share that because that's not detrimental in any way, shape and form to any of the competitors, because Jess set the bar and everybody else had to follow. So it was really good. And it sounds like we have a result.
Yes, we do, Case. You picked that up well. The Providence Cup final for show hunter Hacks and Galloways over 14 hands. One of our highlights here at Royal Melbourne Show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, with great pleasure, I have the privilege to announce the winner of this year's Providence Cup. It goes to number 1617, Hollands Bend Royal Consort, Universal Stables and Sienna Vasilopoulos from Kangaroo Brown in Victoria. A lovely garland, inscribed trophy rug, jackets, runner-up, cotton trophy rugs as well too. All the participants get the gift bag, which includes the Polo Cup vest, inscribed headstall, RASV sash supported by Karen as well too. And right down to 10th prize. All participants get a gift prize, feed voucher and cap supported by Pride's Easy Feed. And while our winner is being sashed, in a moment, I will call the runner-up. I'm just wondering, Casey, whether you might like to put the microphone underneath Sienna's nose in a moment or two, and we'll have a little chat and listen to her as I will announce in just a moment our runner-up. And then we may be able to hear from our winner as well too.
Well, if you want to announce the runner-up, and then we can keep on sashing while I talk to Sienna.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, once again, please show your appreciation. Our runner-up for 2019 goes to number 1928. It's France, Alana Richards from Parkside in South Australia.
Well, he's been standing so beautifully out over there in the lineup, but now that he knows that the attention's on him, I'll just give him a nice little scratch on the neck. I've got the wonderful set of nails to do it. Sienna, I might hand you the microphone because you're a long way up there and let you take us through what this event actually means to you.
It means so much. He's such a baby, and he came from my coach Adam Oliver, who did such a great job with him as a youngster, and it just means so much. It's his first ever Melbourne Royal and his first really big win at a Royal, so I'm just so proud of him. I'd just like to thank everyone who's helped us get into the ring, Chris Leach, Leslie, our strapper, my coach Adam Oliver and the rest of the Universal stable, and obviously my parents for getting us here. It's just a real thrill. Thank you.
Well, I said to you before that on the live stream, he's a horse that I've been watching all week, and he is a young horse. You said he's only 6 years old. So for this to become his first Melbourne show, and as you can see, he's not quite used to the attention and this beautiful big avenue of honour, but he's done such a good job. So our photographers and everyone involved, I'll get out of the picture, and you can all continue on in taking the photo of this magnificent horse that we see in front of us right now.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, our winner and runner-up are about to do a little lap of honour in a moment or two. Please show your appreciation to the rest of our field, to our riders and horses who put on a beautiful display out here this morning in our 2019 Providence Cup final. Congratulations to our winner, Holland's Bend Royal Consort from Universal Stables in Siena. Well done and congratulations. It was lovely to catch up with you and Casey. And also to France, Solana Richards from Parkside in South Australia. So we'll invite our red coat to take them on a little lap of honour.
Take the winner's rug. Yeah. Well, congratulations, ladies. What a beautiful picture that is as these two accomplished horses make their way out of the Royal Melbourne Show. Our winner having its first year out here. What a bright future ahead. And France, well, for our equestrians out there, they know the journey that horse has been on. So it's wonderful to have him back and doing so well. In a moment or two's time, we'll start the next of our feature. It's our Pope Cup. So I'll say goodbye to everyone on the main broadcast and I'll continue my job out here as the live stream commentator. Surprisingly going really nicely. Dwayne said he sometimes can do Okay, everybody, for those of you at home, our live stream is continuing here. This time we're flicking to our open hacks. This is a very sought after event here at Melbourne Show for our open hacks. Of course, it is the Pope Cup. Our Pope Cup is a wonderful class and it's been one of those ongoing classes here at Melbourne Show for many years. In fact, there's been a few brilliant horses win it over the years and a lot of our Gary Owen winners in the past have come out and also won a Pope Cup and or if not our Gary Owen place getter. So this is a really good precedent, this class, for what we may see out here tomorrow in terms of our Gary Owen for our lady riders. So just to take you through a little bit of the process out here, each exhibit will be judged on manners, paces, conformation, soundness and performance. The ownership of the cup shall not pass to the winning exhibit but shall remain in the RASV's possession. The name of the winning exhibitor each year will be engraved on the cup. Interesting fact to note that the winner and runner-up is ineligible for the championship out here. So if our winner comes out and wins its individual class, then of course it's eligible for the champion. But just by winning this class doesn't mean that you are eligible for the champion. In fact, you are not. So Colonel A.V. Pope served in the Indian Army and was a top polo player. His wife was also well known in equestrian circles. They lived in Frankston and established the prize in 1950 to encourage the breeding of thoroughbred hacks in the lead up to the 1956 Olympic Games in Melbourne. So this has become quite an event here for our thoroughbreds off the track. In fact, this is probably one of those classes that eventually I'll set for my big horse that I have at home. It's one of those events that really tries to emulate thoroughbred qualities. When I say my horse at home, that meaning that that horse is in fact Chautauqua, one of the horses that have just come off the track. So I'm very much looking forward to getting him out here and perhaps eventually one day starting him in a Pope Cup. Our judges are Kerry Clark, Lyndon Hearn, and in the book here it says Christy Hall, but I know Christy's not out here judging, so I will have to double check that. I think all my information's upstairs, but I'll have to double check who our third judge is. By the looks of things, it might be Kirsten Strath. In fact, it looks like it is, and Kirsten's the one that's got the hard task of narrowing down our top 10. So, of course, a little bit different to what we saw in the last class is the type of the horse that we are now watching out here in terms of our thoroughbreds. These are more slender. Look, there was thoroughbreds out in the last class too, but as you know, each and every one at home, thoroughbreds come in different shapes and or sizes, and in this circumstance, we're looking for long in the cannons. We're looking for a horse, same sort of scenario, that covers the ground like we did in the Providence Cup. But our hope and hacks can sometimes be forgiven for little mistakes, whereas our hunters preferably cannot. In saying that, we still don't want to make any mistakes at all. Sermione cantering, or sorry, should I say Precedence, cantering around in front of me at the moment. Here's a really good example of a horse that shows thoroughbred qualities, and he was a magnificent horse on the track. So the grey is the first horse to be called, which was Rolex. Steph Barrington's just also been called. DP Amazing. Divinity. So a few horses, very popular horses coming in off the circle here. So it looks as though the same deal. We'll have 3 heats. I'll take you all through the horses that have been called in so far for our Pope Cup, remembering that we are going to try and narrow down to a top 10. So the first of our horses to come in for our top 10, as I said, we do have DP Amazing, we have Rolex. The second out here, we've also got Dior out here with Steph Barrington in the saddle. Was called in, and also Divinity with Cat Mullen. So 4 horses that are very prominent horses within the equestrian world have been called in so far, as our stewards give our riders the obliged workout that they are required to do, so they can have a little look over it. Huge number of open hacks out here for this particular class, and it's so good to see that our thoroughbred rehoming nowadays, Racing Victoria have really got onto a good marketing tool in terms of now giving incentives for any of our show riders and or our show jumpers, polo players, you name it, to really get out to the events nowadays and have an incentive for rehoming an off-the-track thoroughbred. Shirley Patterson out here, another girl that's instrumental in the racing industry. Just a few riders getting themselves clogged up there on the corner as they now, one goes shorter, one goes wider, and they separate beautifully. That was well ridden. Just seeing a few gear adjustments being made in the background. Now, if you are at Melbourne Show, it is a requirement here that you cannot adjust any of your gear unless it is pre-approved by the stewards. So, of course, the stewards were helping there. So back to the trot. Our judges called for back again to the trot. Be interesting to see if she starts selecting now off the circle, or whether she changes the rein. We'll just wait and see. It looks like maybe we might have a change of rein. Yes, I can see one rider looking through the centre, so that means we're going to change the rein. And a lot of our riders working overtime out here to make sure that they're showing the horse off to the best of their abilities, because you only get this one chance whilst you're on the circle. You need to be called in to have more of an opportunity for the judges to have a look over your horse. So making sure that they get the maximum amount of trot, movement and elevation in their horses. And Canneron's just been called from our steward, and off they go. So I hope that you are enjoying our live stream coverage at home, and that at least, because the weather is looking like we're going to get rained on again, at least you're sitting at home in the comfort, or maybe you're at the office at work, and it feels as though you are at Melbourne Show if you're an interested hacky or equestrian competitor. And for whatever reason you couldn't make it to this year's Royal Melbourne Show, well, this is the beauty of live stream. You can be here without actually being here. Back to trot, calls the steward. I'm quite certain that in a minute now we'll start to call off the circle. Our judge still making sure she's got every aspect covered of what she thinks that she needs to see as her requirement for what she's going to call in. It's no hard task, or should I say it is a hard task in calling the horses in off the circle. I'd hate to be the head judge and have that responsibility. So here we go. We've got one horse coming in. 279 is the first horse called in. It's Distanzia, owned by Francine Trineman. 1480 is another horse that's been called. That is DP Polo, Karen Shaw's nomination, owned by Angela Skyring and Corinne Collins. 1429 is another of the horses that have come through, which is Supreme, owned by Stephanie O'Connor. And 1144 is another of our horses that have been called in. It's Optimal, Courtney McLeod and Jordan Barnard's nomination. Well, it's starting to get quite chilly out here. Isn't it funny how you see our thoroughbreds, even though a lot of them have been off the track for many, many years, they still don't like standing still. Sometimes they just can't handle standing still, always moving forward. Keep the thoroughbred moving forward. So I'm pretty sure that in a moment or two's time, our other two judges will be joining me downstairs, in which case I might do what I did in the last event. I'll get the opportunity to go and speak to our judges and ask them what their types are before we can start the workouts. And let's pick a little bit of the brains of our judges before they go out there. So we got a rough idea from our last class what our judges were looking for. Let's see if we can get an idea out here now before our Pope Cup. So as I said, I can't see whether our judge is already down here or not. In fact, I can see that Lyndon is down here, one of our judges. So we might go and take the opportunity to have a little bit of a chat with him and see what makes his quality or his type of open hack. My red coat keeps picking on me. He says, I love talking to myself. I'll go and talk to him in a minute. That'll really upset his day. Must look funny from a crowd's perspective. I'm out here with a microphone and yet no one can see me. Well, I've got with me here Lyndon. So Lyndon, you can talk to me because I'm on live stream. So nobody out here can hear us. So no one knows your thoughts as of yet. Isn't it splendid? This is why we do live stream. No one can hear anything except for those at home. Take us through your open hack. What will you be looking for in this particular class? What makes your type of horse?
In Pope Cup, Casey, very much quality, thoroughbred quality horse. Horse to me that stands over ground. So conformation very important, and then also movement that you would expect from a thoroughbred horse with paces, and 3 strong paces, and hopefully some nice length of stride and gallop as well.
This is the thing, isn't it? With our thoroughbreds, we always like them to be moving forward. They don't do too well standing still, and their best part about a thoroughbred is they can cover the ground so well.
That's the magic of the thoroughbred horse, I think. It's an animal of beauty too when the paces are pure, and that's the trot as well as the canter, but the gallop is just something exceptional. So I hope we get a chance to see some stride out here today.
You're an owner, a trainer, you're involved in the thoroughbred industry. You sound like you're very passionate about our friends out there.
I still love the thoroughbred horse. I think they're magnificent. Yeah.
Aren't they? Well, we're very much looking forward to seeing your type of horse, as the job is not done for you yet, as I'll bring forward our next judge. I'll go and attack Kerry. Lyndon and Kerry almost doing a tag team here as one comes out of the box and the next comes in. Hi, Kerry. Welcome to Melbourne Show. You've been out here for a few days now, but take us through. As I said, this is a live stream, so no one can hear us aside from the people that are sitting at home. What makes your type of thoroughbred?
Look, I love thoroughbreds. I'm looking for a beautiful, elegant, clean-legged animal with lots of hair underneath it, a lovely mover looking out of the bridle, going forwards happily. A beautiful horse. That's what I'm looking for, that moves beautifully too.
Isn't it interesting? Our thoroughbreds really are the epitome of elegance in terms of a big horse, what they do. But it's interesting to hear you say clean legs, because that's hard to find in a horse that comes off the track.
Well, yes, it is, but I think with a lot of horses off the track now, they're very well cared for and looked after, and if they're let down properly and given that time to come good, you'll find that most of them, they're the supreme athlete, thoroughbreds.
Well, it's interesting you say the supreme athletes. Take two. Athlete is the thoroughbred, because my bloke at home's a 9-year-old and he's got very clean legs for a horse that's done what he's done in terms of a racing career. He's won $9 million and yet he's still got clean legs. We were quite surprised. So as you say, it can be done.
Oh, I totally agree. We've got a lovely one at home. He's had 82 starts, so he's raced everywhere, and he's still a sound, strong horse with clean legs. But he was very, very well cared for.
And that's the key, isn't it? Back back in the racing industry, they've got to have good carers. And in that scenario, there are trainers out there that are really looking after their horses because they know nowadays that there's such a market for these thoroughbreds in a future life.
Oh, absolutely. And really with thoroughbreds, there's nothing they can't do. With, they're all different. Well, what's the saying is there's a horse for everyone out there. And I'm, very pro thoroughbred. I think that they're the best horse you can get.
Well, we're looking forward to watching you judge this class. Best of luck. That was Kerry Clark, everybody sitting back at home, one of our main judges out here for our Poke Club, as is Lyndon Hearn. And of course, as I say, my book says, but I know it's Kirsten who's out there joining us for our Pope Cup, Kirsten Strath. So I just had to confirm that with everybody. So again, we're looking for a top 10, so this will be interesting to see. We saw for our Providence Cup, the horses were called in off the lineup. They can, if the judge requires them to do so. And Kirsten, they can go back out on the circle and she can reselect a top 10. So it looks as though we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, I'll have to, they're moving on me. How dare they? So they're all coming up to the grass. So it looks as though they might be doing almost the same as what they did for the Providence Cup, where our judge is now going to take a look over these horses' legs or select them out from a lineup. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13 horses in this lineup. So it's interesting to see that our judge is just looking over these horses now. In some way, shape and form, she has to narrow down to a top 10. It is the requirement of the class. So it looks as though she's writing down her numbers now as the horses of which she wants to come out and join for her top 10. So here we go, they're coming forward. She's narrowing down here. So there you have it. She's narrowed down to her top 10. She's eliminated off the lineup. So it looks as though Dior, Steph Barrington's nomination, will be out. DP Polo, I think, might be out. I can't quite get the numbers of the horses to confirm that for you. But anyway, here comes the workout side of things. So our riders will now move back to where I am. We will get underway with the workout as our judges moves across to their space of where they will endeavour to watch these horses. Be interesting to see how the workout plays here for our Pope Cup. So 472 will be the very first of our horses to compete. I know this to be the horse of the Mullen family. This is Divinity. So as this is a horse class of their breeding, we'll take you through the sire. So the sire of Divinity is Oratorio. Damsaristic. The racing name of this particular horse is Tied Up. So Divinity has been very successful so far. She was successful at Sydney this year. And Kat absolutely adores her girl. So let's see what she brings together with the workout. Let's ride through it with her. She really has developed into a really, really, really lovely show horse, Divinity. by the looks of things, just from what I'm seeing at the moment, it looks as though it might be almost identical to the workout that we had in the Providence Cup. So remembering from what I can see on ground level, there are lots of marks and a little bit of discoloration in the grass. That's better, Kat. I find myself riding along with a lot of our competitors too. When you see from a ground levels perspective, I was just looking at Kat before and thinking to myself, just give her a little bit more of a stronger canter, because she's such a fluent mare when she's cantering. And it would be lovely to see Kat allow her to stride out a little bit more. As she's just as I thought it, it's almost as though she read my mind and she did it. But you heard Lyndon say that part of his requirement for his judging criteria, as he has a thoroughbred background, he races, breeds and owns thoroughbred racehorses. He's very much looking forward to our competitors allowing their horses to really give a good gallop across the ground. A lot of concentration on the face of Kat Mullen as she is working divinity to the best of her abilities, because this is the only chance you get. The workout is final. And as we saw in the Providence Cup before, that some of our horses didn't nail the workout at all. So that's a really, really good starter. Well done, Kat. As the crowd gives her a round of applause from the background. The next of our horses out is Rolex II, Michelle Laban's nomination, number 801. This particular horse's sire is Bradbury's Luck, and the dam is Annunciation. The racing name of this horse was Grey Assassin. So Rolex, another very, very competitive horse when it comes to these classes, expressing thoroughbred qualities, because he really is a horse that's nice and long in the cannon and just really looks like a thoroughbred that's come off the track. He covers the ground beautifully. Good body, good structure about him, fluently across the ground. How will the judges see it though? Lovely, lovely change there through the centre. I've been watching this young lady riding this particular horse for the entire show, and it's interesting to note that even though it looks effortless out there for little Caitlin, she's certainly working overtime up there to make him look as good as he does. Her riding, she's been one of those riders that I've been watching all show, and every class that she's in with him, as a rider, at any point in time, she doesn't get to relax. Even though the horse at all times looks like he's doing it easily, but the rider is really working overtime. As the crowd applauds, another beautiful workout as the next of our horses out will be DP Amazing, Michelle Painter's nomination, number 552. This horse's sire is Medal of Honour, the dam Shazaba. The racing name of this horse is Chester Pinnerton. In fact, I think I've spoken to Michelle about DP Amazing before, and he wasn't a speedy horse on the track at all, she said. In fact, he was probably one of your slower race horses that ever graced the racing scene, but he's definitely been one of our more higher performed horses in terms of out here on our showing scene. There's not much that this bloke in front of us hasn't won before, as we watch and see how his workout fares. And there's always one in every crowd, that darn magpie. He seems to be just an annoyance at the moment. He's always landing in front of our horses. He couldn't land, he's got an entire showgrounds to land in, but yet he wants to keep landing in front of our horses. Oh. It's because they didn't get into the grand final, you see. He's just upsetting everybody, is that magpie. Such a big arena here to utilise in terms of moving forward to give them a really nice strong gallop and or hand gallop across the top of the arena. And as we know, our judges are looking for that. Leave no stone unturned is my theory. Go out there and own the workout. Do everything that the judges ask for. Nail it. And if your horse is good enough and so's your riding, then hopefully it will be rewarding to you at the end of the day. Now, unfortunately, I missed the number of the next horse going out there, but they will come head on at me once they turn the corner to come across the side in front of the judges, so side onto the judges' view. They'll then come head on at me, so then I'll be able to bring you the number. I have a rough idea of who the horse is, but like all things, I'll try not to say it before I have confirmation. One, 4, 2, 9 it is. And 1429 is Supreme for Stephanie O'Connor, owned by Stephanie as well. This horse's sire, surprisingly, is Doomsday. I remember that horse when he was racing. The Damn Biddy, racing name Helinacel. You know, it's interesting, and none of the riders behind me can hear me, but I haven't really seen any of these riders really put pedal to the metal in terms of, you know, making sure that their thoroughbreds really cover the ground in this particular class. And I know that it's different. It's not a hunter class where the hunters are, that is a requirement. But just because I know what the judges are looking for, and so does everybody else at home, you can see that here in this class that a few of our riders are just holding back on those key elements that are really, really going to win them those points. It's funny, our competitors just having a little bit of a chat to me behind me. They're all asking me the question as whether or not I'm ready to be out here competing with them next year. That'll be the interesting thing. What do I do? Do I commentate or do I ride? That'll be the fun part. It's been a long time since I've competed at a Royal Show. I've spent so much time now commentating them rather than competing at them. Can't wait to get my teeth back into it. In fact, I'm going to have my first show officially on the weekend, since I think the last time I rode at a show was 2004. Here we go. 1144 is the next horse. And that is Optimal, Jordan Barnard's nomination, owned by Courtney McLeod. This particular horse, sire, is Octagonal, and the mum is Happen, racing name Optimal. It's interesting, we spoke about this horse the other day in terms of his colouring coming from Octagonal, and Octagonal's potentially the horse that got me involved in racing in the first place. I was a little girl who was involved heavily in showing, and I sat back one day and watched on the TV this magnificent racehorse called Octagonal. He was jet black, and I just couldn't believe that there was a horse out here there that was as good looking as what he was. And that's what turned my attention into the racing industry, where I had a racing career for 18 years in the saddle. So we're speaking about this horse's daddy, one of my all-time favourites. It's good to see that we're getting a really, really strong crowd in to watch this event. Normally, you know, at any normal show, you're surrounded by our equestrian friends that are, you know, sitting in the seats behind me and or in the grandstand, but it's really good to see that the crowd here at Royal Melbourne Show today are actually really taking part in this feature event here, being the Pope Cup. Another magnificent horse that we're about to see enter is the nomination of Tattinger. Tattinger is nominated by J&R Equestrian, owned by Dufferin and J&R Equestrian. This particular horse's sire is Clang, the dam henpecked, racing name Black Hassler. It's interesting to see that Reese has got the job of riding this big boy today, and it's funny, I can hear in the background Jess is talking and almost riding with her husband. In a moment or two's time, I'll go down and speak to some of our competitors about how they felt their horses went in our Pope Cup as the sun now starts to shine. It got cold there for a minute, but just deciding to bring him back to a walk. It's funny watching Reese. He just glanced up at the big screen then to make sure that his horse's frame was looking perfect. To glance over to his wife to make sure that he's doing a good enough job. Nicely done. I'm pretty sure he'll be very happy with this workout. $969 will be the next of our horses to come out as I'll go down and speak to some of our competitors. 969 will be Universal Studio, or goodness gracious, it's a long day. See what happens when I'm walking and talking. Universal Stables and Sienna Vassopoulos' nomination, High Fashion, owned by Sienna. The dam of the next horse we're about to see out is Ombra della Sierra. Sorry, that was the sire. The dam is Flower of Couroy. The racing name is Rosie Glow. We keeping you up? Our riders are yawning. Hello, Miss Cat. How are you? Take us through Divinity's workout.
Oh, I was actually a little bit rushed. I didn't think I was going to be going out first. So she took a little bit to settle in, but really, really happy, you know, considering she's the smallest in here. The Pope Club normally more for the big over 16 hand type geldings, and I think we're one of only 2 mares. So I'm really pleased to be in the 10. I thought her work was good.
As it is a class displaying thoroughbred qualities, take us through her background on where she's been.
She's had a bit of a scenic tour of Australia. She's only 6, but she's WA bred by Oratorio, and she raced there as a 2-year-old. I think she had about a half a dozen starts, a couple of placings, not too fantastic on the track. So she headed across from WA to Queensland. She was with Universal Stables for a year or so, and then I got her from there. I've done all the work with her ever since.
Well, she's been a credit to you, Kat, because we've been watching her and she's tasted great success. Let's hope and fingers crossed that you can do it again out here for our Pope Cup. Well, this lady's no stranger to being in these big classes. On her lovely big grey boy here. How are you, Caitlin?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Take us through your workout on this boy. What did you think of it?
Well, he's been a little bit hot lately, so he was a little bit tricky, but we got through it and it was really fun. The gallop was the best bit though.
He looks like a horse that covers the ground. Is he comfortable to ride?
He's really comfortable, and we've got amazing saddles with the counties on him. They're made to measure, so they're perfect, fit him amazing.
What would this mean to you to win this class?
It would be pretty special because it would be a 2-year in a row thing and coming off of the back of the Pope on Sydney, but you never know what's going to happen.
That's why I led in for that question. I was wondering whether you'd give me that answer, and you did. I could have paid you for that answer. Well done. Another horse that's no stranger to winning things at Royal Melbourne Show is DP Amazing. He put in a lovely workout for you.
Yes, I was pretty pleased with it.
Did you enjoy your birthday Cheerio the other day?
Yes, I did. That was fun.
Michelle was out here the other day in the fancy dress, would you believe? And we gave her a little bit of a Cheerio. It was her birthday. What would it mean to you to win this particular class?
Oh, it would be really, really special. I love this horse so much, and he's won so much. It would be just great to win it.
I know the story behind how you got him. Was it your birthday present?
He certainly was for my 40th, and it was a surprise. I had absolutely no idea.
Well, here we go. Being the fact that it was your birthday the other day and you're on your big favourite man, you never know your luck, Shell. Good luck to you. What about yourself? Take us through your workout.
I was really happy with it. So I ride Mickey or Supreme, and he did a far better workout than I expected him to because he's not a fan of the Melbourne wind.
Well, I tell you what, I was watching Supreme before and he's got a really flicky action on him. Is he a bouncy horse to ride?
No, he's actually really comfortable, and any chance I get to ride him out in the ring, I absolutely just enjoy every second of it.
Well, good luck to you. He's a lovely horse. He's got those striking 4 white socks. As we'll look out here, this looks like Jess. I'll just grab the number of the horse for you so that I can take everybody at home on a journey with the horse that you're watching on screen at the moment. Is 1550. And that is, of course, Mickey Moto, nominated by Joe Bailey and Sandra McCann. So Mickey Moto as a sire is in Costa del Lago. And the dam Zabia, racing name Largo Force. Oh, Jess is certainly doing what the judges have asked for there. She's covering the ground on this big boy, and he's no stranger to winning at this sort of level either. So what a lovely workout she's just displayed here, as you are currently watching on screen, Mickey Moto. Well, this is Big Optimal. He's certainly a lovely looking horse. He doesn't have the colour of his daddy, but take us through his racing background.
So we purchased him from Hayley Sheehan from Tasmanian Horse Transport 3 years ago, and we've continued on with him.
It's good to see him. He enjoys coming out to the Melbourne show. He was in the off the track classes yesterday, and then of course with our fashions off the track coming out here today. Is he in a Gary Owen or anything tomorrow?
Yep, he's in the Gary Owen tomorrow with Lauren O'Doherty, so she's going to use him this year.
What did you make of your workout?
Yeah, it was good. A bit lazy, but that's okay.
Look, lazy's fine. Lazy's good. We prefer a thoroughbred to be more lazy than forward, but those of you at home know the intricate details. All right, Reese, did the feel the pressure there of your wife watching you in the background?
Oh, she's always over my shoulder every time I have to ride a horse. So, yeah, I've been dealing with that pressure for a while, but it's always worse when I have to ride one of her favourites.
He's looking at me there like I felt the pressure too, Dad. I felt the pressure. So the horse that you're currently watching out on screen is Stage Presence for Rebecca Farrow. How come you got the deal of riding him?
Jess is just having a run around on Mickey Moto for tomorrow to give a bit of preparation for the Gary Owen. So hopefully, fingers crossed, and all goes well for her tomorrow as well.
Nice little starter. Well, the workout seemed pretty faultless to me. What does everybody make of it at home? Stage Presence is one of those big horses that you're watching out on screen now that very rarely puts a foot out of place. Beck really enjoys doing a lot of dressage on this boy. In fact, I was at a competition not only 3 weeks ago watching Beck compete. I ended up having to leave before I found out the results and how Beck went on that day, but I know she really is starting to enjoy the dressage side of things with her big boy Percy. Sienna, high fashion, take us through your workout.
She was a bit naughty. She felt quite fresh out there. I don't think she was a fan of the crowd. She was being a bit noise sensitive today. But she still got around quite nicely. She just felt very strong. But that's Rosie for you. She has a good day and a bad day, and it's Rosie's way or the highway.
It's the thoroughbred world for you, isn't it? Some days are good, the next days you're bad. My favourite saying is one day you're a rooster, the next day you're a feather duster. You were a rooster in the last event, maybe you're the feather duster now.
Yeah, maybe. And she's also a chestnut mare, so that does.
Say no more. Do I dare ask? Jean, he was my most hated of sires. Every time I used to have to ride, I always had to ride a chestnut Jean filly on the track. Oh, they were hard work, let me tell you. Jessie, you and Mickey look good out there.
Thank you. He was amazing.
Bit of a warm-up for you for tomorrow, Reese tells us.
Yeah, we thought it'd be a good idea to ride him in a competition before the Gary Owen.
It's always good to have a bit of a practice. Looked good out there. Take us through what I said to Reese. I saw him glance over here at one present point in time just to make sure that he was doing the right thing on one of your favourites.
Yeah, no, Titan Joe, previous winner of the Providence Cup, he did a really good job. So, yeah, couldn't be happier.
Being a mum and dad, both out here on horses, how do you help? There must be a good team behind you.
Yeah, we're a very good team. Our team we have behind the scenes are amazing and, you know, such an integral part of everything we do, and none of this would be possible without, you know, the hired help behind the scenes.
Well, I tell you what, I'm utilising my hired help today as my little one's in childcare, and unfortunately being here, I can't go and pick her up tonight. So her daddy got called to Singapore. I was like, uh-oh. I need your team, Jess. This is Entourage that we're watching on screen at the moment for Bryony Randall. Another very prominent hack in the hack ring. A horse that's been there, done it all before. Winning Gary Owens, just to name a few. So Bryony will leave no stone unturned as she does her workout out here. Looks as though we are watching the last of our horses to work out, which is Entourage, or Sunny as he's aptly named. This guy is famous for his paddock name as well, is Mr. Percy. Stage Presence. Beck, take us through your workout.
I was really happy with it, thanks Casey. He was really good. It's his first time out here for the show. Last time he was here was Gary Owen last year, so it was great to be out there and he was really good.
You're missing it, Beck. You retired from Gary Owen last year. How are you feeling?
I'm really missing it. I really felt pretty flat through winter, through the lead up, and it felt quite strange after 20 years, but I have to say the week before Melbourne I felt really good and relaxed.
I was going to say, you're enjoying dabbling in a little bit of dressage with Stage Presence now. How are you enjoying it?
Look, all his training at home is dressage based, so it just makes sense to put him out there and have a bit of fun.
How'd you fare in the competition the other day that I came to watch? I never got the results.
Not as well as we do out here.
Oh, well, good luck.
As we allow Rebecca Farrow to join the rest of the lineup up there. As you can see, the only person we probably won't get the opportunity to speak to is Bryony because they've been called forward. But I'm quite sure that Bryony will be more than happy with the way her horse worked. And by the looks of things, it looked pretty spectacular too. How do you see it? How do the judges fare? You know what the judges are looking for at home. You know they want a really forward, bold type, but they also have to be quality. They need to be good, clean-legged thoroughbreds, elegant through the head, but cover the ground. Hard to find that perfect horse and perfect workout, but I think our judges have done a pretty good job. The Colonel Avi Pope served in the Indian Army, which is what this event is all about. He was a top polo player. His wife, also well known in equestrian circles. They lived in Frankston and established the prize in 1950 to encourage the breeding of thoroughbred hacks in the lead up to the 1956 Olympic Games in Melbourne. So I think everybody's had a really, really good opportunity to have a look over these horses. How do you see it faring? What was your favourite workout? I have my favourites. Our stewards are now working overtime to make sure that they bring all the results back to our results. Well, I think it's a good opportunity now. I might even speak to this lady that's in front of me in a minute. She might be able to talk. She's just doing a little bit of social media, showing her fans based back at home. Come in here, Ali, and we'll have a little bit of a speak. At the moment, we're on live stream, but at any moment they could probably hook us up live. But how do you make of the class? Racing Victoria heavily involved here and off the track.
Was fantastic. This is my 4th year here now, which is pretty special, and it was great to watch them out there. I think I've picked maybe the winner. I was sitting back there, but it's so fantastic to watch our thoroughbreds here.
Well, now that they've put us on loud so we can speak to the crowd, we'll come and turn you around. So everybody at home, this is Ali Mosley. She's heavily involved in the off the track here. It's a wonderful incentive now that Racing Victoria have to bring one of these events, such a prestigious event, looking for thoroughbred qualities.
Absolutely, and I think it's really the pinnacle of the showing world here this week, and for us to see off the track thoroughbreds dominating is what it's all about for us.
Thoroughbreds, there's no extent to what they can and can't do. You'd know, you travel around doing a little bit of snippets here and there for racing.com. They're covering now polo, they're covering show jumping. There's no aspect that the thoroughbred can't do.
Absolutely, and we've got Jump Off coming up again this season, which will be on Channel 7, showing what our thoroughbreds can do as show jumpers. It's endless. They're so versatile, they're so talented, and they're the perfect all-rounder.
Well, Melbourne Show, the big lead up tomorrow. It's Gary Owen. A lot of the horses that we're seeing out here are having a little bit of a practice before the big day. Will you be back joining us then?
I certainly will.
There won't be too much that you'll miss. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Ali Mosley. She joins us from Racing Victoria's Off the Track program. She's a big believer in what these horses can do out there, and it's great to have their support with such a wonderful event.
All right, thank you, Casey. And I think it would be remiss of me I didn't wish Ali all the best, because unfortunately we're going to lose Ali. She's heading up to Sydney very soon to take up a job there with Sky Channel. So all her hard work has certainly not gone unnoticed, let me tell you, with our Off the Track series.
Well, I found it really interesting watching this particular class. I know what the judges were looking for. I know what their type was. Of course, I can't share that with everybody out there because the event is not over, even though the points have been tallied. Well, I'm thinking
Well, if that's
maybe.
the case, I can't see any reason why you can't.
Well, I was just thinking that myself. So it's been interesting in
It's all done
talking.
and dusted.
Well, here we go. I will share. So in talking to our judges before, they were talking that they were looking for a horse that distributed real thoroughbred qualities, a really lovely head, that really good movement. And a couple of our judges had said that they wanted our riders to leave no stone unturned. They didn't want to see a horse that didn't really cover the ground in terms of that playing it safe. As far as a gallop was concerned, they wanted to see a good, strong gallop. They wanted to really see our thoroughbreds up and cover the ground, but yet still have the quality that our thoroughbreds possess.
Well, it's interesting. I tried to explain what I would be looking for, what I thought the judge would be looking for, and none of that came into the situation case. But I think using the word elegant and athletic, I think would be good enough to describe what I would think they would be looking for, and of course, naturally showing those thoroughbred qualities. And we're also looking for very much a clean-legged horse, and a horse that, as I described, has got a bit of air under it.
Well, I did make that have that conversation with one of our judges, and they said that they were looking for a horse that was really good and clean-legged, which, you know, at some circumstances can be hard to do with thoroughbreds coming off the track. But our thoroughbreds are so well cared for now in the racing stables that there's no reason why these horses can't walk off the track without any blemishes or marks on them. In fact, we've got a 9-year-old horse at home at the moment, and he's just that, you know, like he's a horse that's been there, done that. He's won $9 million in prize money, but yet he's got very, very good, clean legs. So the way that they're cared for nowadays in terms of coming off the track with our trainers and our track riders, it's a real credit to the racing industry in the way that they're producing these thoroughbreds now for something else other than racing in terms of the next level in their lives.
Well, as you can anticipate, our fanfare signifies we've got results up here for the Colonel A.V. Pope Cup. And of course, this perpetual trophy on RASV sash. And of course, $1,000. A little bit of cash to splash for our winner here today as well too. And a big thank you to Racing Victoria for their support as well too. Well, we only have the two prizes, the first and second. Let's go the other way this time, Case, and we'll announce our second place getter to come and join us. Our runner-up in the Colonel A.V. Pope Cup goes to number 941, the stage presence, and Rebecca Farrow from Gruyere in Victoria. And our winner, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for 2019, class number 189S, the Colonel A.V. Pope Cup, our winner is number 1550, Mickey Moto, Joe Bailey from High Range in New South Wales.
Well, here we are. We're looking at two ladies here. One was last year's Gary Owen winner. The other rider is just coming out here to have a practice on this particular horse that she's going to be riding in tomorrow's Gary Owen. So our Pope Cup has been a little bit of a stepping stone where we can see here one buck is being passed from last year's winner to another of our riders taking home the Pope Cup at the moment, who is going to be out here joining us looking to win our Gary Owen tomorrow.
Well, of course, Mickey Moto, well known to us, Casey, throughout the show world. Was champion Royal Show at the capital city, Royal Show Brisbane. Was champion also at Royal Canberra Show as well too in 2019, earlier this year. So a horse that comes here today with an impeccable record and continues on its winning way.
Well, it's interesting. We'll allow Jess to get her photos taken. I'll speak to Beck because what we were talking about before on live stream, nobody out here could hear. You're missing the Gary Owen a little bit. Tomorrow, you're not out there competing. You won it last year, but you're really looking forward to seeing what transpires.
I was really missing the preparation through this winter. It felt like part of me was missing. But as I said to you before, the last week coming into the show, all of a sudden I felt quite relieved without the pressure of it. But I'm helping a couple of first-timers out there tomorrow, and I'm really looking forward to watching the event.
One of those first-timers happens to be my best friend. Congratulations in running second out here, our runner-up for our Colonel A.V. Pope Cup, as I'll now get in amongst it and see if I can get the attention of our winning rider in Jess Stones out here, and this wonderful horse that we're about to see in Mickey Moto. Well, 2 seconds, Jess. We'll get in here. A good practice for tomorrow. This is a wonderful event, and it's prestigious to take home the Pope Cup win.
Yeah, absolutely. A fantastic warm-up for tomorrow. It's a bit of a dream come true to ride this horse, so yeah, finally it's happened.
Look, there's not much in the showing world that this bloke hasn't won. As far as thoroughbred qualities are concerned, he's buying Costa del Lago. He's just a beautiful moving horse across the ground.
Oh, he's a sensational horse, there's no doubt about it. And he is an absolute dream boat to ride. He's incredible. Gives you such an amazing feeling.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a very nice round of applause as we're about to watch our winner and our runner-up leave our Herald Sun Arena with 2 magnificent horses. One girl out here, our winner, is looking to win the Gary Owen tomorrow. The lady who's behind her, she was there doing just that last year in Rebecca Farrow. So don't forget to give them a round of applause. These are 2 beautiful horses that we are seeing leave our Herald Sun Arena at the moment. Our winner, Mickey Moto and Jess Stalling. Mickey Moto, of course, owned by Joe Bailey, and Rebecca Farrow and Percy with stage presence. And he has that presence too. Look at him bouncing off the track. Hold on, Beck.
Yes, congratulations to both our ladies.